All right, so I decided I was gonna have a little rant about some stuff. Just having the camera facing upward. All right, so yeah, little. I'm just a cigarette. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Saturn symbolism and why it's important to understand it. So you have to realize that there are those that follow the way of Saturn. They follow the way of God. They accept the universe God for the laws that he has. They accept it fully, without condition, and they reap the benefits. And of course, there are those that continue to rebel, continue to claim that it's not fair, it's not whatever. And they fail. So I'll move my little phone a little bit so I have a little better place to place it. They fail miserably, time and time and again. So I'm gonna move my little frickin' little microphone set, little headset with me, and so I'm gonna continue on with this. There are those that they accept the laws of God and the laws of nature as is, and they use it to their advantage. So those of people that think that somehow, they're gonna scam the system with prayer or with magic or whatever, this law of attraction, that's not how this works. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. You're using the laws of God and of nature to your advantage. Because here's the thing, right? We all know that you don't have to be smart to be rich. You don't. You don't have to, be super good looking to get love. You don't have to be, physically like super strong or big or muscular to win a fight. Any of those things, right? So, of course, we live in a world of physical limitations. That is a world of Saturn. And so, when you allow yourself to be bound by these physical limitations, when you keep giving into them, and you obsess over them, and you chase these physical limitations, yes, you can manifest, and yes, you can make petitions, and you can, quote unquote, sell your soul, even though that's not how it actually works, in order to manifest things that you want. I'm gonna move this little headset a bit. You can sell your soul to get, the things you want, quote unquote. You can, do petitions and make pacts and pray. And that's okay. However, when you become obsessed with these limitations, when you become bound by them, when you become enslaved by them, you become a slave of Saturn. Saturn rules the physical. You begin to worship the black cube. That's why the symbolism of Saturn is so heavily used in modern society, in the legal system and pop culture, in the quote-unquote elite, the Illuminati, the whoever. And I saw a video on Rumble. I'm going to see if I can find a link to it and post it on. I found this video on Rumble and it said the Illuminati means the darkened ones, that are dark. I'm not sure in what language or dialect or inflection that is. I'm not here to argue with that. From what I've learned, Illuminati means those who are enlightened. So when you say Illuminati and you call these so-called, bad people Illuminati, these evil people Illuminati, all you're doing is you're giving them more power. When you call them the elite, the billionaires, once again, You're giving them more power. All you're doing is feeding into that. And when you get angry and wish bad things upon them, I mean, are you surprised when bad things happen to you? When anger is directed towards you? As above, so below. As within, so without. And I know I repeat myself on this channel quite a bit. However, you got to realize that if you don't accept the laws of Saturn, Elohim, of whomever as is, you'll continue to lose. Continue to be a victim of, the universe, of society, whatever. If you hate society, well, don't be surprised when you're a victim of society. If you hate rich people, don't be surprised that you're poor and that you're one of their victims. And I know it's hard to do these days. I know these days the symbolism is constantly being flashed in your face, and and nowadays these so-called Illuminati, Freemasons, whoever, these powers that be, these lizard people, if you want to call them that, they're not even trying to hide this shit anymore. They're just flat out putting it out there, and people fall for it time and time and again. Now, as far as the COVID vaccines, I mean, I don't know what they put in there. I've never been to their labs. I've never done the manufacturing or research or anything. I've never done a LISA or, any kind of analysis. Never done any of that. All I've done was, doing what I know. And all I know is I know what I know. Now I can hear things and I can, read about things and, see the news and everything. But it's ultimately hearsay. I mean, let's be honest with you. Most of the stuff that you hear and read about is hearsay. 99% of it. You have no way of actually being able to, you have no experience of that. I mean, I'll take an example here. I was in the military. Yeah, I served in the U.S. Army. But that doesn't mean that I know every little thing about the government or, who's doing what behind closed doors or whatever. I don't know. Have I been to lodges? Well, if I've been to a lodge and had, an oath of secrecy, I can't tell you. Now, mind you, I've, as for any oaths of secrecy, well, it's called an oath of secrecy for a reason. And when you break that oath of secrecy, you pay dearly. When you break a covenant, a contract that you've agreed to, you pay dearly. Especially when that covenant is something so sacred, or even, sacrilegious, demonic. And mind you, demonic can also be sacred. When you break those covenants, well, you're going to get punished. That's Saturn. Yeah, Saturn's a judge. And sometimes Saturn brings the tough love. Saturn's Saturn for you. However, with that being said, of course, obviously, there are physical limitations. But when you allow your physical limitations to bring you down and to, be your limiting factor when you dwell on it and say, I can't do this because, I don't know, I'm poor, I don't have proper education, I'm short, I'm bald, I'm too old, the list goes on. I can't blame you for being, there you go. You have just given in to the rule of Saturn. And there are those that don't. There are those that know the laws of the universe. They use it to their advantage. And they succeed time and time and again. And what happens? Well, the people that don't, they hate them. They criticize them. They mock them. We've all heard about, the tales of, these, I don't know, whatever people, and they get all this money, or these ugly dudes, these old ugly dudes, they have all this money and then they use it to take advantage of young women. Well, they were able to transcend their physical limitations, and they got it. That's how they pulled it off. And there you go, guys. That'll be about it for this one. Take care.